mentioned before, please start tweeting that you're here. We want everyone to know how important early childhood education and after school is as we embark on this really exciting transition. What we're going to talk briefly. What we're going to talk about today briefly, and we'll be having an opportunity for discussion and an opportunity for dancing, but we're going to talk a little bit about the transition plan that we've created to help strengthen New York City's early childhood and after-school program so that every single child in New York City can attend a high-quality, affordable early childhood education and after-school program. Our plan represents the input of over 150 organizations who came together to fight budget cuts that had been proposed for early childhood education and after school. We stand ready to work with Mayor-elect de Blasio to expand universal pre-K to all 4-year-olds, as well as expanding early childhood education for all children ages 0 to 3, and after-school programs for children in elementary, middle, and high school. Our plan outlines the areas of quality, investment, and expansion. We're going to talk about all 3 today. Next slide. Welcome to Councilmember Palma. Why did we have to make this plan? Because there's a need. Early childhood education after-school programs are critical for children and families. They help children succeed in school, and they enable parents to work, bringing economic security to their families. What has been the problem? Both systems have been faced with budget cuts year in and year out. That said, we've heard a little bit of good news today that we may have gotten some of our money back, but we'll find out more in the coming days. But we have been faced with budget cuts. But what we really need is to grow our systems. So we put together a plan on how we can grow our system even in the face of budget cuts pending. Our plan is to ensure all children have access to high-quality, affordable, early childhood education and after-school programs. We are so excited and encouraged to have a mayor-elect who is a longtime champion of early childhood education after-school programs. How about a round of applause for our mayor-elect? We stand ready to work with him to expand universal pre-K to all 4-year-olds, to expand early childhood education for younger children, as well as expanding after school to elementary, middle, and high school students. So we are not supposed to start the plan until we start. Our plan has some short-term, long-term, and medium-term benchmarks. The first step is to baseline over $150 million of one-year funding that's currently in the 2 systems. We don't know all of the details, but the current mayor, Bloomberg, today was talking about trying to baseline, or maybe perhaps baselining this money. More details to come on that. Even so, this would eliminate the annual budget dams, but doesn't help the systems grow or address the rates that are paid to providers, and the rates for staff, and other key issues that we need to ensure a more stable system for children in New York City. We also put together a plan for the first term and the second term. It includes expanding to more children, starting with the highest need children in the city, and eventually, by the end of the second term, making it so every New York City child can have access to early childhood education and after school. Universal early childhood education after school. Does that sound good to everyone? Great. We're going to talk more about that tonight. Once the group behind me goes into breakout groups, we're going to bring out the kids. I'm supposed to keep talking until they do that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to recognize the people who are here. And what I want to do is I want to hear and see which groups are the loudest. SEO. Where's SEO? CCC. Center for Family Life. Good Shepherd Services. Youth Development Institute. Children's Aid Society. I get everybody? Well, thank you all for coming. Now that they've stopped talking over there, it's perfect timing. We're going to bring up the Canva Beacon Colors of Peace from PS 269. We're going to do a performance for you up in the front here. Where are they? Jen? The Canva Beacon. Where are they?
It's okay.
If that's the case.
Wasn't you know Kevin? Kevin Douglas UNH wasn't there when we were started. Valerie, I knew it was a V-name. I think I'd be able to. That's right. Makes it simple. Beacons?
There's so much support for that scoop groups at I don't put camping pictures just like
You're right, Brian.
so yeah, we used to
our plans, starting with quality. So if I could have the quality group come up. They are Yolanda McBride from Children's Aid Society. Woo! Sandra Escamilla, the Executive Director of Youth Development Institute. And Helene Osred from Center for Family Life and SEO Family Services. Come on up, have a seat. I'm going to leave the mic.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yolanda McBride. I am the Director of Policy at the Children's Aid Society and wanted to talk to you about the first thing from our transition document, quality. For us, it's very important that we implement high-quality systems and provide the resources to meet them. First bullet, ensure programs are educational and enriching. For us, it's key that we not only have programs that are educational and enriching, but that they're developmentally appropriate and that they also address the needs of children from diverse communities and also from various ethnicities. Appropriately compensate well-trained staff. This is important for us on all fronts, not only just for after-school programs, but also for early education programs. That we have the right level of funding that will allow us to not only hire well-trained staff, but also provide the kind of professional development that we need to ensure that the staff are on a career trajectory and also meeting the needs of the children that we serve, children and youth that we serve. Fully fund programs at an adequate rate. This is something that Campaign for Children, we've been very focused on in terms of making sure that all the programs have the right amount of funding that is needed to provide the quality level programs that we have. We know that if we don't have an adequate rate, then we're not able to provide the highest quality services that we need. Enhanced communication, collaboration, and transparency between city and parents, advocates, and the public. We truly believe that there's a lot of expertise with service providers, with parents and advocates at the ground level, and that there's definitely a need for city agencies and advocates and parents to really engage and talk about how we can actually support one another in our efforts to serve children and families in the communities where we are located. And also enhance collaboration between city agencies, including the sharing of data and resources. We feel like sometimes there's like missed opportunities for us to really expand upon the work that we do because we don't necessarily have the right level of data. If we don't know necessarily if there are certain trends that are happening in communities, we can't necessarily kind of refocus the work that we're doing based on that information. So it's really important. And just overall, quality is important to us because with Common Core, we recognize that the programs that we serve, whether they're early childhood programs, after school programs, that they actually support the work that is happening in schools, and they should be considered definitely a critical piece of the system to ensure that all kids are academically prepared. So with that, I will turn it over to our respondents to the quality section. Helene?
Thank you, Yolanda. Yeah, let's give her a round of applause. My name is Hélène Anserud. I'm a Beacon Director at Center for Family Life. That's a program of SEO Family of Services. And I will speak to you a little bit about quality programming. In my experience, a quality program takes a very long time to build. Of course, a program needs to offer substantial skill-building activities that promote youth development in areas such as sports, dance, theater, visual arts, and many others that encourage learning and support educational success. But just as important, a quality program creates over time a culture where young people can safely develop meaningful relationships with each other and with staff. A culture in which young people can be appreciated for who they are and for what they uniquely have to offer to each other and to the community. A culture where they can be challenged to learn and to grow. This is the kind of environment that leads to social and emotional well-being. The kind of program quality described just above depends on stability that only can be possible with staff retention. This program quality requires adequate and sustained funding. It is very difficult, challenging to keep a strong, well-trained staff when the funding comes and goes, and when it's not adequate or not competitive with that of other fields. In such an unstable environment, no matter how much staff love the work they do, they may not be able to stay. We also need to offer relevant training and opportunities to pursue educational goals. If we are to keep the staff we invested in and attract others we want in our programs. After-school programs offer an opportunity to build leadership skills and to encourage citizenship through community service projects. These programs, especially those that cover a wide range of ages, provide a way to build a ladder of leadership. When young people are involved in good programs, they become interested in moving up on such a ladder. This process starts with volunteer internships for counselors or leaders in training. It can eventually result in paid positions. These young staff have the experience and have developed the critical skills to engage, work with, and be role models to the next generation of participants and to serve their community. With the right training, educational supports, and the possibility of a career path, they can aspire to become the program directors and leaders of tomorrow. Thank you.
My name is Sandra Escamilla, and I'm the Executive Director of the Youth Development Institute. And we saw early on what quality looked like. We saw these amazing steppers, and I want to give them a hand again. And as Amanda was saying, that does not happen overnight. Development is a process. It's not an event. And so I really urge this administration to really invest some serious dollars in helping programs build the capacity to have quality services for young people. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about some recommendations specifically on how organizations can do that externally. So one of the things that I think the Department of Youth and Community Development has done very well is provide opportunities for after-school programs to convene on a regular basis. There needs to be a regular commitment moving forward to really have conferences in which the leaders in the field are really learning from one another, sharing best practices and problem solving together, because there is great expertise in the field. And that there are current infrastructures that DYCD has that brings after-school directors together on a regular basis that can be utilized in different ways and reimagined. So those monthly meetings that are used to really monitor projects should be really used as innovative strategies to really problem solve together and really share data and look at data. And speaking of data, to really think about the data that's necessary to really be able to assess the true needs of young people beyond participation and retention. Another external strategy is really to think about the relationship with CUNY. CUNY has currently worked with the Department of Youth and Community Development to really begin to create some undergraduate and graduate courses in youth studies. And while that's really wonderful, I want to know who's going to pay for it, right? So there's a pipeline of young people that are amazing youth workers that really need access to those services and to those opportunities. So there should be an investment in this administration to include contracts, in their contracts, a professional development that allows for a youth worker who is an aspiring director to take a course at Hunter College, at CUNY. And then finally, I think there needs to be an investment, a continued investment, and this administration has done so, in really bringing contracts that have a capacity building component, specifically external partners, intermediaries like YDI, TASC, and I'm getting a little rough over here, so I'm just going to say that these interventions need to really think about not just the one-shot deals that are really, and sometimes important to exposing people to the fields, but those really intensive initiatives that really change practices and make a difference at the point of service.
Thank you, quality team. Speaking of investment, we're going to talk about investment now. Don't trip on it. I have coming up for investment Michelle Yanchi from Good Shepherd Services, Rich Berlin from Harlem RBI, and Kobo Akakoro, who's the star of the hit movie Brooklyn Castle. This time, because we want to make sure everyone gets a turn, and we don't run out of time before they kick us out of here, we're going to have to ask you to try to keep your responses to about a minute.
Have a seat. I feel like the quality group really showed us what this is all about. We are all about making sure that all of the young people of our city have quality childcare and after-school programs in their communities so that their families have those options, know they're safe, can go to work, and all of our young people and families can have life success. But in order to make that happen, we need resources. And so this piece is really about investment. We have 3 bullets that our transition plan are asking that the city provide stable, reliable, multi-year funding to create sustainable programs, reducing barriers to access and ensuring continuity for families, that we explore all of the options to maintain these investments, and that we make sure that our child care and after-school programs are accessible and affordable to families. Now, in order to really help me bring that home, I want to call up 2 special guests, Hassan and Ramel. Come on up here. These young men are from the United Activities Unlimited Beacon program in Staten Island. And Hassan is a superhero. I know you can't tell from looking at him, but he has a special trick to show us. Hold on a second. And Ramel is his sidekick, because every good superhero needs to have a sidekick. So completely on his own tonight, Hassan came up with this wonderful special trick as a superhero. He's going to demonstrate for us. Hassan, tell everyone about what your special power is.
My special power is shooting lead from these stuff, these stickers, and
Campaign for Children?
and it shows that I shoot money for school, for after schools, to keep them safe.
So, out of his Campaign for Children wristband, money for after school and child care comes shooting out. And that's really what it's all about. We are the Campaign for Children, and we have to be superheroes to make sure that New York City kids have investments in the programs that they need. I'm going to ask our 2 special speakers to finish this off. We have Kobo. I don't know how many of you saw Brooklyn Castle. Kobo, if you haven't, you must. Brooklyn Castle is an incredible program about an after-school program in Brooklyn, and the documentary was underway when they found out that their program was going to be eliminated due to the budget cuts. Thankfully, from all of our work, all of our superhero efforts, this program has been saved. And Kobo, otherwise known on Twitter as Obama, you have to really see the movie to understand why that's important, was a participant and chess champion. And I don't know really chess that well, but Kobo will tell you what his actual incredible title is and tell us briefly about why investment in after-school programs is important.
So, good evening, everybody. Hello. I'm Kobo. All right. Just to give you a little bit more background of who I am. I played on the 318 chess team from 6th grade to 8th grade. During my time as a 318 chess player, I won 5 national championships. And, you know, one of the things that I was really angry about while I was there through 18 was the budget cuts that continue to impact the program. It makes no sense for a chess team to continue winning national championships after championship after championship every year, and still city council will come up with a budget that will actually reduce the program. So I didn't really think that's fair, and I did something, but in order for you to find out what I did to combat that, you have to watch the film. So really, the reason why we need to invest in after-school programs is because, you know, it gives the kids, it gives the students a reason to come to school. You know, I remember when I was in the 6th grade, and I used to wake up at 5:45 in the morning to go to school. 5:45 in the morning. Who wants to get out of bed at 5:45 in the morning? Especially me. I'm an 11-year-old kid getting up at 5:45 in the morning. No way. You know, I did not want to get out of bed at such an early time of the day. But what carried me through the day was the fact that at the end of the day, there's chess club, or there's algebra, or there's intramural football. You know, these programs that get kids engaged in activities that keep them in the school club, that keeps them off the streets. You know, you don't want a kid going home after after school and going home and then playing Call of Duty for 2 hours. You know, so it keeps the kids engaged. It gives them skills, so when they get older, they can put these skills into our economy, and we can have a fruitful economy, good jobs, good people producing, you know, goods and services, so we can have a fruitful economy. That's pretty much it.
Thank you so much. I want to introduce Rich Berlin, who's the Executive Director of Harlem RBI, and is going to speak for a moment about what it's like as the Executive Director of an organization and how important stable investment is for after school and by extension time of year.
Well, it just got a lot easier. I'm going to offer Hassan a job as our Director of Development. It's going to make that money problem go much easier. Our Development Director may be sad to hear that. So I know time is short. I was on my way down here today, and I Googled investment and after school, and one of the first things that came up was a study that showed what middle class and affluent families are spending every single year to keep their kids engaged after school and during the summers. Also a critical piece of out of school time. And on average, the range is about $7,000 to $25,000 a year for the cost of their children to be engaged and have productive activities and safe activities that not only prepare them to go back to school the next day or the next September, but allow them to have fun and build real skills. There's not a single funding stream that exists in the United States that supports after school at even an average of half that rate. And I think the question is, what does that say if what we're willing to spend on Hassan is different than what people are willing to spend on their own children? These are all our children. And if we're serious about meeting the quality goals, the infrastructure needs of programs, independent programs like Harlem RBI, or big citywide programs like Children's Aid, it requires an unprecedented investment in after school. We got a little bit down the road in the last 10 years on that, and when we were redesigning the after school, out of school time system in New York City, somewhere during that conversation, when we were talking about what it would cost to build a world-class out-of-school time system, somebody identified the numbers being floated around as, quote-unquote, the big lie. I think that moved the needle partially on appropriate investment from maybe something that was more appropriate for the 1960s after-school model as opposed to our 2012 model, but we still have a long way to go. So if we're serious about opportunities for our young people, if we are serious about equity, and if we are serious about a world in which all these young people will have a chance to be Spider-Man or anybody else they want to be 20 years from now, increased investment, consistent investment over time, not just 1 year at a time, is what will help get us there.
While the next panel comes up, I wanted to invite David really quickly to tell us why after school is important for investment.
Well, after school is It's really fun and it has many activities. And plus, you don't know where your kids are at when you don't know what they're at after school. So anyway, my name is David, and my secret identity is Break Break.
Yeah, a lot of superheroes in the room. Thank you, David.
Thank you, David. And I think David made it very clear why after school is so important. We've talked about quality. We've talked about investment. Before we talk about expansion, we want to remind everybody exactly what it is we're fighting for, what those superheroes are all fighting for. We have the Beaconite Divas from United Activities Unlimited Beacon in Staten Island. They came all the way from Staten Island. Come on down.
That we want universal access to early childhood education and after school. Yeah! We have to make this happen. We need to ensure that there is year-round, full-day early childhood education for every child in New York City. Yeah! We need to ensure that there's year-round and summer, after school, for every child in New York City in middle school, in elementary school, and in high school. We start by prioritizing those children most in need based on poverty and other factors. And we need to explore all options for progressive revenue to make sure we have the funds to support these crucial services. I'm going to turn over now to our wonderful co-panelist, first Jim Madison from the Brooklyn Kindergarten Society.
Good afternoon. It's always a pleasure to see so many children coming out for an event, which makes my remarks a little challenging. 45 years ago, in the 60s and the 70s, the dropout rate in low-income neighborhoods in New York was around 95%. Recently, we had statewide tests of all children in the 3rd through 8th grade, and in the lowest income neighborhoods, we had about 5% of the children reading at grade level, 95% reading below grade level. As long as I have been involved in education, I've listened to presidents and governors and mayors run aggressively on being the education mayor, the education president, the education governor. I believe for the first time we have a mayor-elect who believes what he says and will follow through on it, but we are all, including the children, responsible.
What was really interesting about our resilience here out
Everybody, I don't really need a mic. I appreciate everybody being here. It's financially support for me. My parents were members of the program that I'm not part of, and that's how I got the program. They got me into the program, and it's been great. Expansion's always been fun for me. But actually, the program that I started at was able to expand. So I'm fortunate enough to do that.